Hey guys, it's William here. Today I'm going to show you the pregame setup video. This is an updated version of it. So, if you ever want me, I'm going to do this video on how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! But this is the pregame setup. Next video will be the how to play. The full how to play. Intro music, please.
Perfect fish.
So, let's get on with the pregame setup. So, if you ever heard of the pregame setup, let me just put my camera around so you guys can tell you want to see this face with the broken pimple nose. So in my last video, I showed you that you need 50 to 40 to 60 cards in your deck, and you can also create an optional extra deck and side deck. These decks can have no more than 0 to 15 cards, and they do not count towards your main deck's total. This extra deck is used to hold special monsters that you have to summon in the game when you fulfill certain requirements. Then, I'm going to pull this back around real quick. Now, the reason that there are also reasons there's restrictions that you can't have no more than 3 copies of a card with the exact same name in your main, side, and extra decks combined. The game, certain cards have special names that they give the names of the monsters. For example, Harpy Lady 1, 2, and 3 are all registered as Harpy Lady. That means you cannot exceed the monsters with their own given name in your main, side, and extra decks. Certain cards have a specific quantity restrictions beyond this. So you see, limited cards are restricted to 1 copy, semi-limited are restricted to 1 or 2, forbidden cards are not allowed to be included at all, and cards have text that's saying they cannot be used in a duel. Now, this is another reason. You can even check out the updated list, and I'll put a link in the video so I can tell you where you can find it. Look for the updated Yu-Gi-Oh! Banned, limited, and semi-limited list. But in casual play, if players both agree, that list can be ignored. Now let's flip this camera back around so I can show you how to do it. See, your game, your duel. You're also gonna need stuff in order to calculate damage. So here is the main zone. So this is limited to certain zones. You can use a game mat to help you out. So here. Now that I'm gonna talk about the different types of cards you can have. So let's switch this back around. There we go. Now, there are different types of cards in this game. Now look, here are the 3 different types of cards. Monster, Spell, and Trap. Now each card has an icon. Now monster cards have a different attribute icon. Just like how Bakugan has. They have an attribute. But in Yu-Gi-Oh! The attributes are known as the tribe the crowd they're in. So let's say there are 7 different ones. Dark, Wind, Fire, Light, Water, Earth, and Divine. The divine monsters are like Obelisk, Winged Dragon Ra, and Slifer. They're all in the divine attribute because they're Egyptian god cards. You see? Now it all makes sense, doesn't it? Now let's get back to the pregame setup. Now like I said, this place is limited to certain zones. You can use a game mat to help you remember. So let's start. So I'll show you that. This is a spell card. You place it down here in your spell and trap zone, right here. This thing right here, the spell and trap zone. which is above the main monster zone. Now, let me just show you how to do this real quick. Now, above the zone is the main monster zone, where you place monsters in play. Now, please forgive me. Oh, let me flip this back around. Now, please forgive me that I just placed, like Advanced Crystal Beast Cobalt Eagle into the game. Well, normally you won't be able to summon him without the Advanced Dark Field spell. Like I said, this is where you put your monsters. And I even have pendulum monsters. We'll talk about those later. So this is where you can put your monsters when they're in play. You may not have up to no more than 5 monsters in your main monster zone. And then also this is now below that is the spell and trap zone. Where you put cards here, where you put spells and trap cards. These cards can either be set or activated immediately, which are these spell cards. Then we have a trap card. These ones cannot be activated immediately. You have to set them before you use them. Before you use these traps here, you have to set them first. You cannot activate the same turn it was set. It was set onto the field. I should have told you that in the main video. Now above the monster zone are 2 extra monster zones. And when a monster is destroyed, it's sent to this part right here, the graveyard. That's where whenever cards are used, they are sent to the graveyard. Now below the graveyard is your main your 40 to 60 card deck. That is where you're gonna put. That's where you're gonna draw cards. But if you run out of cards and you need to draw, then you immediately lose the duel. Next to the main monster zone on the opposite side is the field zone. Let me get my 2 field spells out. Real quick. Now right here, I have 2 field spells. The Advanced Dark Field spell and the Perform Upon Dramatic Theater field spell. So when I play Perform Upon Dramatic Theater, it has effects that will only affect certain monsters. Or you could trade it in for a different spell. But you can't replace a spell without replacing it first. Or you can use, if you have a spell in the zone right here, you place it over here, then you place it face down like this. But I have to warn you, only this way is how the field spell is active, face up. If it's face down, remember, only face up field spells are active. Now let me just put these right here. Now below the field zone is your extra deck, where you summon extra deck monsters when you fulfill certain requirements. Now remember, if a card is banished or removed from the duel, it is sent to the banishment area. So if you want to banish Perform Upon Dramatic Theater, you can. And you can keep Advanced Dark later for later use. You can keep this here for later use because it's a field spell. But remember, return your banished cards to your deck at the end of each duel. Well, guys, that's what I wanted to cover for the pregame setup. We'll talk about how to play the game next video. So please forgive me for doing this stuff. Please like, favorite, comment, subscribe. See you soon.